and it's in-game live prime time on a spectacular Sunday afternoon. Scott Wetzel, Joe Madden for the next 4 glorious hours, right up until 8 p.m. Eastern time as we watch and, more importantly, bet on the world of sports. Full slate of baseball games that we could dabble into, including a couple that are starting here in just a few minutes. We got Caitlin Clark getting underway, a little WNBA action. We got the golf finishing up. We got, what else do we got? A little CFL action later on tonight. I believe we got one more game, so a lot to get to over the next 4 hours with my partner in crime, Miss Joe Madden. What's going on, Joe? How are you on this Sunday afternoon?
I'm doing fantastic, and so are the Oakland A's. Scott, I don't know if you've looked at the score as of late, but the Oakland A's have put 18 runs on the board here versus the Phillies. Top of the ninth, it is an 18-3 game. This game is completely done. The Phillies just not having a strong day out there. How's your day started, Scott?
Well, it started okay, but having an Oakland A hit 3 home runs today in a game, and I got another guy that's got 2, so I'm hoping he didn't hit a third one as well, has not exactly made my day well. It started out with the Stankies losing, so got off on a nice little trend, but we got this season-long bet, Joe, of under 11.5 players hitting 3 home runs. I think it's or more. I'm assuming it is in a game. With today, with this guy Brown batting for the A's, I think it's him. We're now up to 7, so it's getting a little dicey there. Yeah, I didn't think we'd get 7 all season, let alone in mid-July. So, what a ball's flying out. You get enough runs being scored these days. So. The A's are actually going to take 2 out of 3 against Philadelphia in Philadelphia. Not sure what the odds were on that. I'm sure right around 2-1. So nice job by the A's, bad job by the Philadelphia Phillies. So we got a bunch of games starting here, Joe, 4 or so at 4:15 or so, 4:10, 4:15. So why don't we throw to our SGP little same game parlay to get some action on these games. All right, I'll go first. I'm going to use Seattle against the L.A. Angels, 1 of 4 starting here in about 5-10 minutes. Mariners minus 166 against the Angels. Seattle won the first game on Thursday. They've lost the last 2. I don't think they're going to lose 3 in a row to the pathetic L.A. Angels. I mean, that would really do something. So I don't think that's going to be the case, especially with Logan Gilbert on the hill. We're going to use his strikeout props you see there. 5 or more, minus 235. His number's really 6.5, so I went, a strikeout and a half or so lower just to make sure he gets it. And then we're going to use Julio Rodriguez, who's really not had a great year, but I think he's going to come up big today against the Angels. We're going to go score run, minus 160. That's not too bad. And then the biggie, this is what really is going to bump up the odds. He needs to get a double, not a single, not a triple, not a home run. I'm just going to say he's going to get a double somewhere along the line. That plus 330, like I said, is really going to boost the odds up on this same game parlay. So you put the 4 pieces together, and as you see there, right around 9:14 or so when I put it in this afternoon. So we'll figure over 9-1. Seattle, Rodriguez score run, Rodriguez a double, and then 5 strikeouts or more for Logan Gilbert.
I love it, Scott. I'm going to tail you on that one. Rodriguez really needs to get things going here for the Seattle Mariners, and I do have faith in Logan Gilbert coming out here. So I was riding the Mariners already to get the win, so I'm going to tail that. We hit both of our same game parlays yesterday, so let's try to do it again today. I've got a 3-leg parlay, and I'm looking at the matchup between the Toronto Blue Jays and the Arizona Diamondbacks. Now, my favorite thing as of late is fading the Toronto Blue Jays, and I have to go back to it again today. I don't trust in this team, and I think there's a lot of adjustments that need to be made by the trade deadline. Vladdy just isn't hitting right now, and if he's not connecting with that ball, this team isn't winning games. So I'm looking for the Diamondbacks to be able to get the win. Zach Allen getting the start here. He's nice and strong for them. He'll be facing up against Kikuchi. First leg of the parlay will be the Diamondbacks on the money line. And then because Kikuchi, off his last game, he looked pretty strong versus the Giants. I think he can limit the runs at least in the first 5 innings while he's out there. So I'm going to take the first 5 under 4.5 runs. I could see the Diamondbacks putting up a couple, but with the lack of offense that we've seen out of the Toronto Blue Jays, I'm not expecting them to add to those runs in the first 5. So the under 4.5 in the first 5 innings. But then I'm going to look at the Diamondbacks team total. This is low here. at 3.5, especially once this turns over to the bullpen. We know Kikuchi can give up those deep balls as well, allowing that hard contact. So I do think the Diamondbacks can put up 3.5 over runs, so 4+ runs in this game. We know they got 12 yesterday out there on the Diamonds on the Blue Jays. So the 3 legs again, Scott, is the Arizona Diamondbacks on the money line, the under 3.5 for the under 4.5 runs in the first 5 innings, and the over 3.5 for the Diamondbacks team total. It comes in at plus 327. Not the plus money you're getting, Scott, but what do you think of this one?
All right, I like it. I think we're going to get some runs today. It's kind of interesting. You got the over 1, but then you got the under 4.5 first 5, but that's obviously based on the 2 starting pitchers, and anything can happen after that. So, all right, I'll put a couple of shekels in. I went with Toronto last night. Not nice hunch. Would they lose 11-1? Honestly, I think it was 11-2, 11-1, something goofy like that. So much for the 12-1. Yeah, so much for the Toronto Blue Jays. Nice little hunch on that bet. You want to put the money on Arizona today? I'm right with you on that one. So with that game, I'll just throw it to you as far as some of the other numbers. Arizona 9-1-1 over their last 11 games. Going back to your overplay there. Kikuchi 11 and this is kind of goofy, but it's there. 11-0 over in his last 11 Sunday starts. Saturday he's awful or he's great. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday he's great, but Sunday he gives up a ton of runs. Go figure, right? That's one of those but it's there. So they lost his last 5 starts. Have the Blue Jays as well. And I don't like betting on left-handed pitchers if I can stay away. So I do like Arizona, especially with Zach Gallen on the hill. They're playing a little bit better, so give me Arizona minus the odds there. As far as Seattle and the LA Angels, they get underway here a little bit. 6-5 Logan Gilbert on the hill, as I mentioned in my same-game parlay for Seattle, Joe. Carson Fulmer on the hill for the LA Angels. Seattle, like I said, dropping 2 of the last 3 to LA. 7-0 under in Gilbert's last 7 starts versus the AL West, if that does anything for you. Angels actually 3-1 their last 4 after dropping 8 of their last 9. And 6-1-1 over their last 8 home games. None of that really kind of jumps off the page for me, except for I just like Seattle's 5-1 in Gilbert's last 6 starts. They win when he's on the hill, even though his record's only 6-5. I like Seattle today to snap their little mini 2-game losing streak.
Yeah, I do too, and I do think they do it in a commanding fashion here. I'm going to take the Mariners, laying the 1.5 on the run line. That's coming in at plus 100. Scott, we know they haven't been getting the run support, but I do think they'll get the runs here today on Carson Fulmer coming out here for the LA Angels. I just don't have the faith in the Angels to limit a team like the Seattle Mariners, even though they have been struggling to get that run support. I do think Logan Gilbert gets it in this one today.
All right, we got San Diego hosting the Atlanta Braves with Chris Sale on the hill. Braves a nice little minus 166. A 7.5 is your total. I think that was 7 before. It's a 7.5 now, even money to the over. He's 12-3 is Chris Sale. 7-0 is Atlanta. Sale starts against winning teams, which San Diego by 2 games over 500 classifies. I was going to say the Chargers. Padres 0-6 the last 6 Sunday starts, if that does anything for you. And then Sale lifetime versus San Diego, 3-0 with a 1.17 ERA. So don't like laying the juice, but give me Chris Sale, who's not going to pitch in the All-Star game, so this is his last outing. Give me Sale and the Braves.
Well, now I've got the San Diego Superchargers song in my head, so thanks for that one, Scott. I'm taking the Murphy in this game. Give me the no runs in the first inning at minus 132. The Braves laying the 1.5 at plus 108. But Chris Sale under 18.5 outs, you got to parlay it with something. It's minus 160.
All right, if they allow you to parlay those, then we'll figure out something when we come back. So in-game live, just getting underway. That should get you started. More bets coming up in a second.
One of the many exciting things about joining LIV was being able to come here and play in front of a Spanish crowd, especially on a level of event and level of competition that I hadn't really yet enjoyed. Right, been able to play events in Spain.
You're in the beautiful Valderrama, which some say is the European Augusta. It's so special. There's so much history here. There's so much Spanish history here.
Well, it has so much history behind. It's only a 50 years old club, but so much has happened through the years. I mean, we had the Ryder Cup, we had World Golf Championships, and now we have LIV.
It's very exciting, and really, if there was ever a place to get my first win, I feel like this would be the perfect week.
I feel like when this wind in this golf course is so difficult that it's equally stressful no matter when or where you're playing it. But it was fun. It's always fun to be back home and be with the home crowd. It's always a joy to have this many people supporting me all day. It's so much fun.
What the heck course were you playing today?
I don't know.
It's brutal out there.
It is brutal. I don't know. I just made everything I looked at, Jerry. You have those days. I suppose this was one of those days for me, so I relished it. I really enjoyed it. Every time I stood over a putt, just felt like I could make it, and you don't get days like that too often, or certainly I don't. So I relished in it, and I managed to hit a lot of good shots as well. So it was a special day.
Welcome back in Game Live, prime time here on the grid. Scott Wetzel and Joe Madden for the next 4 hours, taking you right up until 8 p.m. Eastern time, just getting underway. We got soccer, a little Spain with a goal early second half, leading, I don't even know who they played, England, Colombia, Portugal,
England.
Pick a country. Who?
England,
United
Scott.
States?
It's England.
England. Hey,
You know
England,
what?
England. Why do they have this tournament at the same time as the goofy one tonight? What's wrong with
As well as
soccer? Does
Copa?
soccer do anything right? Why would you go head to head? Well, wouldn't you have
I can hear the
one
soccer
and then
fans
start
right
the
now,
other one
Scott.
right after that?
Soccer fans want to kill you right now. I can feel it, right?
It's so dopey.
makes
It
sense.
really is just so stupid. It's like, I mean, why would you do that? Why would you compete against each other? Right?
I don't know.
I
They
mean,
both feel like they're better than the other ones, but you can still take. Okay, so Spain has already scored here. You can take both teams to score still over on FanDuel at plus 100. I think it's a solid way. I think England has every opportunity of tying up this game. Now, if you think that England is going to score next, you're going to get a little bit more plus money. That's coming in at plus 135, Scott. So I'd be jumping on both teams to score in this game at plus 100 because we've already got half of that bet made instead of looking at England to score the next goal in case something crazy happens here with Spain and then England scores after. So I like the both teams to score. Is there anything you like? I know you think it's goofy here. They're playing at the same time, but we can still bet on it, even if you think it's goofy.
yeah, I actually did. The moment I put in that the game was going to finish 0-0 in regulation, somebody scored a goal. So right away, not 2 minutes later did I put a 0-0 plus 200 bet in, did Spain score. So, no, I think I'll save my money for the WNBA. We got Caitlin Clark and company in action. I'd just as soon bet on women's basketball than I would soccer. It's just too goofy for me. No rule makes any sense. No clock, no time, no idea how much extra time there is. Fake injuries left and right. People going into the stands, beating up the patrons. It's too much for me. And now we got two tournaments going on at the same time. Is one less than the other? Why would one country be in one and not the other? Do you know? Is like one the secondary tournament versus the major tournament, or is it just your preference on what you could be in?
I am not sure, to be honest with you, Scott, but I know someone is out there making notes for your book that you need to publish, right? You have your list of things when games, aren't going the right way, when refs are stepping in, when courses are too easy and those birdies are hitting. There's always a list of things on your mind.
Exactly. Including Caitlin Clark today. Indiana, one of two teams in action against Minnesota. 15 all, late first quarter, 3 minutes left to go. I generally play overs in WNBA games. I rarely play an under. But I like the under in this game. I didn't play it, but that because Minnesota, I think, was going to take it as a challenge with Caitlin Clark. They're one of the best defensive teams in the WNBA. So I'm thinking under on some of Caitlin Clark's props today, Joe. And like I said, I can't actually bet an under in a game because these women, they score. Most of these games are in the 160s, but this one might be a little bit lower. So in Minnesota, only a 4.5 or so point favorite because Indiana and Clark playing much, much better of late. And right now it is still 4.5. So if you wanted to get in an original line, you can still grab Indiana plus the 4.5.
Yeah, I like them plus the 4.5 here, Scott, and that's what I did in this game pregame. I hear you on Caitlin Clark's props. I do think they're a little high in some cases, except for her assists. I still think her assist number of 10 plus assists at plus 120 has value in this game. She's averaging just over 11 assists per game on the season, and I do think she can get them out there today. It's her threes and her points that really give me concerns when I'm looking at betting Caitlin Clark because they do cover, they're all over her, not allowing her to really get open, and we've seen her struggles with hitting those threes and not lack of control out there at shooting them, but I do think she needs to take a couple more seconds out there before she sets up to take that shot. So I'm staying off her points. I will take her assists, though. I think she can hit 10 plus assists in this one, and that's coming in at plus 120.
All right. By the way, did you see Angel Reese yesterday? I don't know how closely you follow the WNBA. I do a little bit, but she had this double-double streak. I think it was 13 games. Of getting a double-double, right? So yesterday, they're losing against the Liberty late in the game, final seconds, as a matter of fact. She needs either 1 or 2 more points to get the double-double because she had it in rebounds, but she didn't have it in points. So they gave her the ball. Liberty double-teamed her, maybe even triple-teamed her. She couldn't shoot, threw the ball back out, was calling for the ball again, and the Chicago player just kind of dribbled out the final 4 or 5 seconds. And she walked off the court in disgust because I didn't think it, honestly, and I don't like her. I don't like her at all. I really don't. But I didn't think it was actually that bad, where even the pro Angel Reese people on Twitter were killing her because she walked off the court in little disgust. But I was like, they're down 15-14 with 2 seconds left. It's not like she walked off the court with 30 seconds left. Like I said, I really didn't think it was that bad. But she was getting crucified on Twitter, if that means anything these days.
I'm sure she was because she's been talking so much that she's bringing this negative attention on herself, I've got to say, Scott, right? Don't you think? With the amount that she's been kind of running her mouth as a way, and nothing against that if that's the style that she wants to come out with out there on the court and in the media. But if you're going to play that way, you're going to get that attention, and the negative attention, I don't think she cares about. I think she relics even in the negative attention.
Yeah, I don't think she did either. I mean, I didn't hear the post-game press conference. I don't know if she had one or not, but like I said, I don't appreciate her. We'll put it that way. But I didn't, I'm pretty fair in my criticisms, and I just didn't think it was that bad, to tell you the truth. And I would love to pile on and say, that was that. But she's walking off the court with 2 seconds left. They're down 14 points. What do you expect her to do? I mean, she's disappointed. All right, she's disappointed she didn't continue her double-double streak. She's human. I didn't think it was that bad. But like I said, everyone else was killing her. So. Leave it to me to be the lone supporter for Angel Reese. The last thing
go,
it's like
Scott.
Me defending. I know it's like me defending the Stanleys for having a bunch of needles in their locker room. I can't do that. It's very difficult. Very difficult.
We're on a roll today, you guys.
Yeah, we'll check the baseball scoreboard when we come back in Game Live.
One of the many exciting things about joining LIV was being able to come here and play in front of a Spanish crowd, especially on a level of event and level of competition that I hadn't really yet enjoyed, right? I've been able to play events in Spain.
Here in the beautiful Valderrama, which some say is the European Augusta, it's so special. There's so much history here. There's so much Spanish history here.
Well, it has so much history behind. It's only a 50 years old club, but so much has happened through the years. I mean, we had the Ryder Cup, we had World Gold Championships, and now we have LIV.
It's very exciting, and really, if there was ever a place to get my first win, I feel like this would be the perfect week.
I feel like when this windy, this golf course is so difficult that it's equally stressful no matter when or where you're playing it. But it was fun. It's always fun to be back home and be with the home crowd. It's always a joy to have this many people supporting me all day. It's so much fun.
What the heck course were you playing today?
I don't know.
It's brutal out there.
It is brutal. I don't know. I just made everything I looked at, Jerry. You have those days. I suppose this was one of those days for me, so I really shouldn't. I really enjoyed it. Every time I stood over a putt, just felt like I could make it, and you don't get days like that too often, or certainly I don't. So yeah, I relished in it, and I managed to hit a lot of good shots as well. So it was a special day.
All right, welcome back. Here's the other goofy thing about soccer, picking up where we live. Like, who's the best soccer player? I thought it was Messi the whole time. Then you got this guy Ronaldo, so now it's like a fight between those two. Then we got the Copa, and now we got this guy Mbappe, who supposedly is the greatest thing since sliced bread. And then there's always Harry Kane. Like, those are the four main guys. Like, we know who the best quarterback is in the NFL, right? If you're going to start a team right now, it's Patrick Mahomes. You can like all the others, but ultimately you're going to grab Patrick Mahomes. Best wide receiver, you're probably going to take Justin Jefferson. Could take a couple of others, but, you have a general idea. But, and if there isn't one, it's because there's no consensus, number one, right? So, do you know soccer enough? Who is if you were going to start a team today, is it Kane? Is it Mbappe? How do you like that name? Is it Ronaldo? Is it Messi? Because, they're thrown at us like they're the greatest things in the world, and every time we turn around, there's another guy that's supposedly the greatest thing in the world.
Well, it's got to be Mbappe and Messi here. I love what we've seen out of Messi over his career, and I do think between the two of them, they're absolutely incredible soccer players. And Messi coming out here tonight, there's a lot of props that you can bet over on FanDuel for Messi in this one. I'm not sure if I would take any of them, though. You're going to get some great plus money if you do think Messi versus Canada can come out nice and strong. Messi to have one or more shots on target tonight from outside of the box is coming in at minus 190, though. So no value there. If you look at Messi to be able to get two or more shots on target from outside of the box, that's where the value starts to come. But you've got to think, Scott, they're going to be all over Leon Messi out there. He's coming in at plus 280 for those two or more shots on target. So I don't know. It's hard to bet these top players with the limited shots that they do get. I was trying to play around with this one to look at where we could get some value with him, and I'm just not seeing it.
All right. So if he takes a shot in the box, that doesn't count? How dopey is that?
Yeah,
Another
doesn't
dopey
count.
thing in soccer. Why not?
Well, for these bets, it
So if
doesn't
he does
count.
like a header wouldn't count then.
Maybe from outside the box. That would be a long
Right, but why?
head hit from
What's so
outside the box.
special about being in the box that
Well,
doesn't
you're
count
a
as a
lot
shot
closer.
on goal?
Right? So
Right.
I don't know. Right?
Could you imagine that in hockey? Could you imagine saying, like, if you were in, if you were in the face-off circle, that doesn't count? Why not? Well,
Don't
because it
give
just
them
doesn't.
Any ideas? Right? Don't give them any ideas, Scott. If they start putting
I
that in
know.
hockey, that's going to kill that bet. It's already hard enough for us to be able
I
to
know.
cash those bets on shots on goal with how they do things. But for players that, line up right in front of that goalie and get those little shots over to them and bump it in, it will take all of those away if they have that. So not even talk about that one.
Yeah. All right, Minnesota, San Fran, the other game that is just getting underway, second inning, no score. So if you played the Nerfy in that one, that's a winner. We got the Twinkies against the Giants. Let me go to my little matchup here. Chris Paddock on the hill for the Twins. He's 5-3. And they're actually very, very good for whatever. I love these little secondary stats here. Twinkies 9-1 in Paddock's 10 starts against losing teams, as San Francisco is. So that means he could beat the bad teams and maybe struggle a little bit against the better teams, but still, this is a bad team. Minnesota 7-0 on Sundays, if that does anything for you. We got the Giants with Blake Snell on the hill, 0-3 since his start off DL. So Giants at home against Minnesota. Twins winning last night 4-2, completing a perfect 6-for-6 round-robin parlay ad for a couple of shekels. So nice job by the Twins last night. Yeah. I did. But that I did, believe it or not, though, bail. You know why? Because the game was going to start as soon as we got off the air, and I had the long train ride home, and they were giving me a pretty good price. They were giving me about 4/5 of what it would have been.
Nice.
So I said, all right, let me just take it. I'll forget about it. Because if I don't take it, by the time I get home, it'll be 6-0 San Diego. So I bailed, but I actually did go 6-for-6 with all the big favorites won yesterday. That's why. Cincinnati, Pittsburgh, Red Sox. I forget who the other ones were. So that was nice and easy.
Yeah, we had
yesterday.
some good games.
Yeah.
Yeah,
so
definitely
Minnesota,
some good
San
games.
Fran today. Any thoughts on this one?
Yeah, I rode with Blake Snell. I think his outs today is too short in this one. Over 15.5 outs coming in at plus 135. I just look at Snell, and yes, he's coming back from injury, but he was in that last game versus Toronto. He looks solid, and I think they'll give him a longer leash in this one. So over 15.5 outs for Snell versus the Twins. I think he can do it, Scott, here.
All right, Twins got something going. Bottom of the second with a runner on first base. So Eitan Shander joins us next. Get some baseball winning from him.
One of the many exciting things about joining Live was being able to come here and play in front of a Spanish crowd, especially on a level of event and level of competition that I hadn't really yet enjoyed, right? I've been able to play events in Spain.
Here in the beautiful Valderrama, which some say is the European Augusta. It's so special. There's so much history here. There's so much Spanish history here.
Well, it has so much history behind. It's only a 50-year-old club, but so much has happened through the years. I mean, we had the Ryder Cup, we had World Gold Championships, and now we have Liv.
It's very exciting, and really, if there was ever a place to get my first win, I feel like this would be the perfect week.
I feel like when this wind at this golf course is so difficult that it's equally stressful no matter when or where you're playing it. But it was fun. It's always fun to be back home and be with the home crowd. It's always a joy to have this many people supporting me all day. It's so much fun.
What the heck course were you playing today?
I don't know.
It's
I
brutal
mean,
out there.
It is brutal. I don't know. I just made everything I looked at, Jerry. You have those days. I suppose this is one of those days for me, so I really shouldn't. I really enjoyed it. Every time I stood over a putt, just felt like I could make it, and you don't get days like that too often, or certainly I don't. So yeah, I relished in it, and I managed to hit a lot of good shots as well. So it was a special day.
soccer like in-game live prime time on a Sunday afternoon with the soccer experts, Scott Wetzel and Joe Madden. Spain and England, Joe, tied 1-1. My tie bet is back in play, and you hit your next goal bet with England, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I took both teams to score. You could get that still at plus 100 after Spain scored that first goal. So with England coming in, scoring the next, that's a cash, Scott. I'm happy with that. What do you think now in this game? You can take Spain to win 2-1, 3-1, or 4-1 coming in here at plus 340. I kind of like rolling my money into that. I did think Spain was the right way to go with this game. Before the goal came by England, Spain was minus 500 to win. It was plus 344 for England to come back and get the win. I now know it's now tied up, but 2-1, 3-1, or 4-1. I kind of like the value we're getting at plus 340 for Spain to take the win.
All right, let me ask you a dumb question. I get one per hour. So if they go to extra innings, or not extra, if they go to extra time, we'll start there. Somebody scores, that's the real score, 2-1, right? And then if they go second question, that's the normal question, I suppose. But then if they go to a shootout and someone wins, is the final score 2-1, whoever wins the shootout, or 1-1?
I think with this bet, it doesn't matter the form that Spain wins it in. But you definitely have to check on each and every book because it will be different. I'm pretty sure it is 2-1 because this says including overtime. So,
right, so
overtime and shootout would be included within this. Yeah.
Right, because they offer, again, it's not a whole lot difference, but, I'll take it if you want to give it to me. You could bet the final score in money line to be a tie. All right, that's minus 170. And then obviously whatever happens in the shootout happens in the shootout, regardless of whether they count that as 2-1 or 1-1. But then you could go back down to a correct score, this is on FanDuel anyway, and have 1-1, and it's minus 155. So, I mean, I don't think they're going to score twice to be, 2-2. No. I guess that's why there's a little bit of a discrepancy. But, minus 190 versus minus 155 or now 150, if you don't think there's going to be any more goals in the next 15 minutes, who wants to lay one minus 190? So I'm thinking 1-1 minus 150, Joe. I already got tie from earlier, and that'll offset my 0-0 losing bet because it's not going to be 0-0, obviously.
Exactly.
So I'm starting from scratch again.
I like this bet as well. Spain versus England method of victory, either team in extra time. That's coming in at plus 210. I do think we're going to get extra time in this. I don't see this one being done in the regulation time. What do you think of that, Scott? Plus 210 on the extra time.
Well, that means you got to score before a shootout. I think it's going to a shootout. I don't think either team's going to score. What are we in the 75th minute or so? You got about 15 minutes left.
Time.
Plus
that
extra
include
time.
Penalties, though. Okay. Because then there's a wager covers extra time penalties if required for Spain to win at minus 138 right now and plus 110 for England to win with extra times and penalties if required.
Good gravy. Well, you can bet this more ways than it has lives, right? I mean, it's a 1-1. Who thought you could bet a 1-1 game about 7,000 different ways? Just let me bet who's going to win, please. Is that so different? Just give me who's going to win. Bottom line, forget about ties and shoot. Who's winning? Who's lifting the trophy? That's the bet I want to make.
Spain.
And you let me know. Who do you want to win, and I'll bet the other team. I guarantee you the other team will win if I put a real bet in.
You take England. I've got Spain. I've liked Spain since they played against France. I really like what we've seen out of them.
All right, they're slight favorites, minus 125 to lift the cup. There you go. Simple, nice. Yeah. Whoever's going to win. I'll grab England. All right, let's go Brits. Couple shekels on them. Plus 110 now. Ooh, I just bought myself 10 cents. How about that? I'll take it. All right, baseball. Back to some real sports here, right? Let's see. Metsi's down 8-5 unless that thing is over. They're going to lose to Colorado today. Look at this. Bottom of the ninth inning. With 2 out, they got 2 on. They got the tying run to the plate. Never say die Mets. You got 1 out left, 2 bullets on base, 18.5 to 1 on FanDuel. Is that worth a couple dollars? Oop, they locked it. Can't bet it. Maybe they got something.
I'm
more
not
going
sure
on.
if I would take at the Met. I don't know. They do never say die, but runners on first, second, bottom of the ninth. You're taking the plus 1850 to come all the way back?
Yeah. What do you think?
Braver than me. You're braver
Yeah?
than me. We'll see. Yeah, you take that one. I'm going to sit back and watch.
Oh, they just locked it again. I was going to put it
Oh.
in. I didn't, but they just locked it again. That's either good or bad. Maybe a pitching change. Could be a pitching change.
Yep.
Pirates
be.
about to beat the White Sox 9-4. You know what was a good bet? A system bet? And I didn't give it out to the guys. I forgot. Don't be me. You know why? Because I didn't realize who won last night's second game. But I like betting on, Joe, teams that get swept in a doubleheader and they're playing the team again the next day. And that would have been the Cubs. Lose a day-night doubleheader. I think it was day-night doubleheader with St. Louis. Either way, they lost both games. And lo and behold, they're beating them 8-3 today.
I love
I think
it.
it just ended.
I love
so.
it. And then
Yeah.
you look at the Cubs in that back bounce situation. In the bounce back spot, they've won 56% of their games. So with them losing both yesterday, looked really solid. And the St. Louis Cardinals, one of the worst home teams as a favorite, if you're backing them, only winning 48.4% of those games, Scott, which is crazy to think.
Yeah. Man, I should have bet that. You know, the game ended so late, and by the time I got home, I just got distracted. And then I saw the score when I looked, but it just didn't. I got so many systems that sometimes you tend to forget, you know, when you put your plays together. So I kind of kicked myself on that one. By the way, Milwaukee leading Washington 9-3. Brewers are designating Dallas Keuchel for assignment. One of our favorite whipping boys. They're going to cut him, try and trade him. I don't know who would take him. Ultimately, they'll probably have to release him. But
You watch him go to Toronto.
So Toronto, yeah.
Pick him up.
There might be.
That'll be just my
Keep
luck,
your
Scott,
fingers
right?
crossed. Yeah, hopefully.
Oh, man.
Hopefully. Back
Oh,
after
if
this.
Toronto
we
takes
got 2 more minutes.
Keuchel, I'm like a free agent. I'm
Yeah.
jumping off being a Toronto fan. That will do it for me. That will be the nail in the coffin for them.
Yeah.
They're gonna
he
do
hasn't
it. I
like
know
pitched
it.
awful. You know, he's been okay for them. You know, he hasn't got any wins, but they've won 3 of the 4. Like yesterday was the first game that he pitched that they actually lost, believe it or not. He's only got like 3 or 4 innings, but it hasn't been like atrocious. So, but I guess they knew what was coming. You're right, 18-3. Let me see if this other guy hit a 3rd home run for the A's, because they have one guy already today. Home runs. Brown and Rooker. Rooker 1, Rooker 2. No, he didn't. Whew. So Butler,
No.
or Brown is the guy that has 3. Rooker only has 2. They hit 8 home. The Oakland A's hit a month's worth of home runs in one game. 8 homers today against the Philadelphia Phillies. Yikes.
Yeah, and we had Joey Estes. He came out for 6 innings. He allowed 4 hits, 3 runs, 5 strikeouts. So Joey Estes isn't normally that solid on the road. I'm pretty impressed with what the Oakland A's have been able to do. Isn't this the second time in the last month we've seen the Oakland, like in the last couple of weeks actually, see the Oakland A's completely explode in one of their games?
Yeah,
That's
they
Oakland,
beat
right?
last Sunday. As a matter of fact, they scored about 15 runs. Yeah.
Yeah, on Baltimore.
Yeah,
Crazy.
Baltimore. Right. Yeah, Saturday was. I think Saturday they scored those runs. Yeah. So kind of weird, definitely. San Fran 1-0 over the Twinkies. We got no score. Top of the second, 1-0 San Diego. Hate to break it to you, but your nerfing the Atlanta-San Diego game is the loser. Fudge.
One of the many exciting things about joining Live was being able to come here and have a Spanish crowd, especially on level of event and level of competition that I hadn't really yet enjoyed, right? I've been able to play events in Spain.
Here in the beautiful Valderrama, which some say is the European Augusta, it's so special. There's so much history here. There's so much Spanish history here.
Well, it has so much history behind. It's only a 50 years old club, but so much has happened through the years. I mean, we had the Ryder Cup, we had World Gold Championships, and now we have LIV.
It's very exciting, and really, if there was ever a place to get my first win, I feel like this would be the perfect week.
I feel like when this wind in this golf course is so difficult that it's equally stressful no matter when or where you're playing it. But it was fun. It's always fun to be back home and be with the home crowd. It's always a joy to have this many people supporting me all day. It's so much fun.
What the heck course were you playing today?
I don't know.
It's brutal out there.
It is brutal. I don't know. I just made everything I looked at, Jerry. You have those days. I suppose this was one of those days for me, so I relish it. I really enjoyed it. Every time I stood over a putt, just felt like I could make it, and you don't get days like that too often, or certainly I don't. So yeah, I relished in it, and I managed to hit a lot of good shots as well. So it was a special day.
All right, welcome back in Game Live, prime time here on the grid. Scott Wetzel, Joe Madden, hour number one of our 4-hour extravaganza. So we got some baseball game, a little WNBA. We got soccer going on. Joe, you keep an eye on the soccer, and you let me know if we need a soccer horn. I guess we could use our goal horn for the NHL, but I don't know if we're going to get another goal, so we might have to keep that in the closet. But we'll definitely 1-1. I got a bet on whether it goes to a shootout. I say 1-1 will be your score. Bottom nine, top of the ninth. I think this one's over. Milwaukee leading Washington 9-3. That's basically done. Top nine, Pittsburgh over the White Sox 9-4. That's basically done. These are leftovers from 2 o'clock starts. San Fran 1-0 over the Twinkies as they play bottom three. San Fran now laying minus 380, which is crazy. They do have a runner on second base. You want to take the Twins plus 270 with Paddock? I'll tell you a little flyer on that. That's you want to give me almost 3-1 in a 1-0 game in the third inning. See, that's what I don't like betting on value, but a lot of times in Game Live, that's what you're betting on. To me, Joe, that's a pretty good bet. It's well over 2.5 to 1 game that was basically pick 'em, and it's 1-0 in the third inning. Who cares? So I almost want that, so I can bet that versus being up 1-0, laying 3-1, which I can't bet.
Yeah, I'm completely with you there. That plus money at plus 260 on the Twins just looks too good to pass up on. I also think the over 5.5 is still in play in this one, Scott. That's coming in at minus 120 to the over. I expected some runs in this, even though I think Blake Snell can have a strong enough day. I still do think this is a game where we get into that 7th, 8th, 9th inning and we still see those runs coming in. So I like the over 5.5 right now. I think that's a complete over adjustment. It did close at 7.5.
Yeah. I'll wait. I agree with you. I'll wait until we get to maybe the 4th inning and get that down to maybe 3.5, but 4.5. This way, we get ourselves a 3, well, not 3-2, but 3-2 game, 2-2, yes. And we force our 5th run. So let me see if we can get that down to 4.5. Padres 1-0 over the Braves. San Diego, Joe, as I mentioned as we went to break, did score at the top or the bottom of the 1st inning against Chris Sale. So your Nerfy unfortunately didn't cash. Did you see how San Diego scored? Was it a home run? Not that it matters, right? A loss is a loss, but still, I'd rather have like 2 or 3 hits versus just a dopey home run, like fudge home run. I know that happens. Yeah. To me, a couple of hits is better. It was a couple hits, too.
Yeah, I'm just going to look at it right now. What happened there to Chris Sale? Because Chris Sale should have come out a lot stronger for the Atlanta Braves and not allowed the Padres, who have an offense that has been really struggling to get those runs on the board. And yeah, I'm not sure. It looks like just a single to center and then a double. So a couple of hits out there. I still think the Braves have the opportunity in this game to get the win over the Padres. You can grab them now, plus 142. Pre-game, I had to lay 1.5 on that run line to get some plus money on them. So I like the value there. You got a total of 6.5. I did take Chris Sale as well for under his 18.5 outs. I thought that was too high going into this game. So even though we lost Nerfy, that's going to mean that he has more of a chance of going under those 18.5 outs. It's just too high, Scott. I want to keep saying 16.5. I didn't expect Chris Sale to have 18.5 outs in this game. I think they pull him early.
Yeah. All right. Let me see if they offer up because I'm going to play that too now that the Padres have a run. I don't know if they offer any updated outlines. I don't see it. Pitches per at bat, no. Live player props, maybe.
Yeah.
That'd be
Maybe.
hit a home run. Players score. Chris Sale to record a win. No, I don't see
That's
anything.
a nice one. Plus 250.
Yeah, plus 250.
Yeah.
But I don't see any total outs. Hits and runs, that would be in there. Total runs. Yeah, no. All right, that sounds like pitches per. No, that's not it. Sounds like that's one of those where you just got to put it into the beginning. It looks like so.
Yeah.
Soccer, Spain. Joe scores. Well, I'm done with soccer betting. I'm just thinking done with it. That's it. I give up. It's one thing to lose on stuff you think you know, but to lose on stuff you know you don't know, forget about it. It's the only dopey soccer game in the world that's actually got goals today. All right.
Yeah, and the under 2.5 was highly juiced in this game coming in. So it's crazy to see all of these goals coming in. But Spain, I really do think, is a stronger team going into this, and they had every ability to get the win. So live lines are all locked for me, Scott. Are you seeing anything for the live lines for England or Spain to hoist the cup? Because we got Spain pre that goal at what, minus 130, minus 125? And now it's locked out.
Right. I got Spain minus 1050.
Okay.
And then England plus 100 to 1 after regulation. So
interesting bet on the total, Scott. If you think there's going to be another goal before we go to extra time here, it's plus 650 if you think England can tie it up before extra time. So I'm not sure if that is worth it here. I think Spain's going to lock down into more of a defensive mode. I wouldn't touch it. But for anyone out there that thinking England can come back and make a fight of this, it's plus 700 right now.
Now, they do pull their goalie in soccer. So you want to throw just a shekel or two on 3-1 final score at 40 to 1.
It's a nice one. 40 to 1. You had me at 40 to 1, Scott. I'll do that.
Yeah, right? You had me at a low. 40 to 1, 30. As soon as we say it, now it's 38 to 1. But still, you know, I don't know. Well, extra time, they say 1 minute. So it doesn't appear like they're giving us a whole lot of extra time here. So we're not going to have. But you got to figure England will pull the goalie, right? So 45 to 1. Is that worth a shekel or two?
It's worth a shekel?
Yeah, I suppose. I mean, literally just barely a shekel. Just because I don't know. You know, they can be playing a minute and a half, 2 minutes. You know, who knows? So now it says 2 minutes. So it's got running time here. So it's not, you're going to get 1 extra minute. Who knows what you're getting? That's weird. I still think that is so bizarre. Ooh, 60 to 1 on an empty netter. Probably not happening. All right, In-Game Live. We'll close out hour number 1 next.
One of the many exciting things about joining Live was was being able to come here and play in front of a Spanish crowd, especially on a level of event and level of competition that I hadn't really yet enjoyed, right? I've been able to play events in Spain.
Here in the beautiful Valderrama, which some say is the European Augusta, it's so special. There's so much history here. There's so much Spanish history here.
Well, it has so much history behind. It's only a 50 years old club, but so much has happened through the years. I mean, we had the Ryder Cup, we had World Gold Championships, and now we have LIV.
It's very exciting, and really, if there was ever a place to get my first win, I feel like this would be the perfect week.
I feel like when this wind in this golf course is so difficult that it's equally stressful no matter when or where you're playing it. But it was fun. It's always fun to be back home and be with the home crowd. It's always a joy to have this many people supporting me all day. It's so much fun.
What the heck course were you playing today?
I don't know.
It's brutal out there.
It is brutal. I don't know. I just made everything I looked at, Jerry. You have those days. I suppose this is one of those days for me, so I relish it. I really enjoyed it. Every time I stood over a putt, just felt like I could make it, and you don't get days like that too often, or certainly I don't. So I relished in it, and I managed to hit a lot of good shots as well. So it was a special day.
Welcome back in Game Live, prime time here on The Grid. Wrapping up hour number one of our 4-hour extravaganza as they wrapped up the Copa America. So Spain does win, Joe, 2-1. No goals in extra time, no shootout needed. So they hoist the cup or trophy, whatever it is. Hopefully no patrons get beat up by the players, unlike other, Copa America games or soccer games anyway. So, you got Spain winning. I told you. I bet pick a team. I bet the other team. I bet England. Black cloud. We don't have a real black cloud for tonight because there aren't any games going on. So we use the black cloud in soccer. Sorry, England fans. Blame anybody. You got to blame Joe. She's telling me to bet England, so I did. So Spain wins 2-1. Congratulations.
Sorry, Scott. I told you I've always loved Spain to get that Euro win, and they were able to come out nice and strong in this one. 2-1 win over England. And it's the second year England has lost there in the finals. So I'm drawing a blank on who they lost to last year. I'm going to have to look it up because I remember 4 years ago they lost that one as well. So, Scott, they lost to Italy back then. Yeah. Hard one for England fans.
All right. Here's one back closer to home. This is what I'm more used to. Let me just double check. Yep. Wow. Bad beat in the WNBA. Although you kind of deserve it, right? But you always got to play hunches. So the Washington Mystics were hosting the Las Vegas Aces today, Joe, right? Aces laying 11.5. Aces trail by 11 after 1. Washington up 11. You're getting 11.5, so you're leading by 22.5 after 1. But long ways to go, Scott. Aces make a little bit of a comeback. They cut the 11-point deficit to 3, but you're still getting 11.5, so you're still up 14.5 at halftime. Looking pretty good, I would think, with Washington, oh, by the way, being a home team. Third quarter, Aces actually take the lead by 3 heading into the fourth, but again, you're getting double digits. It's a close game, entire fourth quarter the whole way, right?
Yep.
Final couple of minutes. That's when the Aces show their true mettle. They turn it on. They outscore Washington 24-15 in the fourth quarter. And the Las Vegas Aces, once down 11 in the second quarter early, end up winning by 12. And they
Wow.
get the cover by the proverbial hook.
Yeah.
Bad beat if you were betting Washington today. That sucks. that really. Now, I happen to be on the Aces, so I'm happy, but I feel for the person who bet Washington.
Oh,
This game
absolutely. You
was-
have to.
Yeah. This, 5.5 minutes left. The Las Vegas was leading by 5 with 5 minutes left.
Okay.
But it was a close game the whole way, and they were trailing the whole way. So they had no business covering 11.5, Joe. Just no business. But
Yeah.
that's gambling.
Well, the Fever are doing really good against the Lynx right now, going into the second half of this game, tied 38-38. So do you think the Indiana Fever can keep this up in the second half here, Scott? Looking at those live lines right around where they originally closed at, +3.5 for the Indiana Fever, +162 on that money line, and that total is now sitting at 155.5 at -108 to the over. I know pregame you were kind of leaning on Caitlin Clark under on her props. I took her assists. I'm going to have to check those numbers and see where it's at. I took her for 10 plus assists in this game, but you've got to like what we're seeing out of the Fever right now.
Yeah, but you're not going to like the numbers you're getting out of Caitlin Clark. I'll tell you that.
Okay, what are we
she
seeing?
has 7 points. Yeah, you don't even want to know how many assists she has. She's
0?
got 7 points on 1 of 5 shooting from 3-point land, 3 of 9 overall. She has more turnovers than assists. Once again, I will tell you she's got 4 assists. She's got more personal fouls than she has assists, Joe, and she's got 2 personal fouls, which means she's either got none or 1. And the good news is she does have at least 1 assist, but
Okay.
clearly they're blanketing her because she's
Yeah.
turning the ball over a lot with 4, and she's not getting any assists with only 1. So
That's hard.
yeah, but the good news is they're tied at 38.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
from that standpoint, yeah, looking halfway decent. But I wouldn't be betting any. Maybe she rebounds a little bit second half, but I don't think so. I think I'd stay away from that. If anything, I think I would go under 155. So, all right,
With
NBA
2
Live,
founding
hour number 2, coming up next.
One of the many exciting things about joining Live was being able to come here and play in front of a Spanish crowd, especially on a level of event and level of competition that I hadn't really yet enjoyed, right? Been able to play events in Spain.
Here in the beautiful Valderrama, which some say is the European Augusta, it's so special. There's so much history here. There's so much Spanish history here.
Well, it has so much history behind. It's only a 50 years old club, but so much has happened through the years. I mean, we had the Ryder Cup, we had World Gold Championships, and now we have Liv.
It's very exciting, and really, if there was ever a place to get my first win, I feel like this would be the perfect week.
I feel like when this wind in this golf course is so difficult that it's equally stressful no matter when or where you're playing it. But it was fun. It's always fun to be back home and be with the home crowd. It's always a joy to have this many people supporting me all day. It's so much fun.
What the heck course were you playing today?
I don't know.
It's
I
brutal
mean,
out there.
It is brutal. I don't know. I just made everything I looked at, Jerry. You have those days. I suppose this was one of those days for me, so I relished it. I really enjoyed it. Every time I stood over a putt, just felt like I could make it, and you don't get days like that too often, or certainly I don't. So I relished in it, and I managed to hit a lot of good shots as well. So it was a special day.
Welcome back in Game Live, prime time here on the Grid. Hour number 2 of our 4-hour extravaganza. Scott Wetzel, Joe Madden for the next 3 as we watch a little baseball. We got a little WNBA. We just finished up the Euro. We got the Copa soccer tournament later on tonight. The Scottish Open finished up earlier today, so maybe we'll preview the British Open for next week. And somewhere over the next 3 hours, we'll take a look at some NFL futures as the football season, some training camps open up this week. How about that? Football is kind of officially here. We got Griffin Murphy joining us at the bottom of the hour. We'll do some second-half baseball over-unders and some props and some thoughts on the second half of the season as we hit the All-Star break. Joe, after today, next real game won't be until Friday as we have the Home Run Hitting Derby tomorrow. We got the All-Star game on Tuesday, and then a couple of days off, and then back to the action on Friday. So for the new viewers, what's on your plate so far today?
Oh, well, I'm sweating out right now. The Arizona Diamondbacks over the Toronto Blue Jays, and I think there's so much value on the Diamondbacks right now. They're coming in at plus 320. They gave the start to Zach Gallen today. He's allowed 2 earned runs so far, and Toronto is threatening with runners on first and third here. That last play by Danny Jansen, the outfitter of the Diamondbacks, should have caught that ball. I'm still kind of fuming over that, but I'm looking for Zach Gallen to do his work here, to not allow Toronto to bring these runners home and be able to come back in this game. I really do think the Diamondbacks have every ability. It's still only the top of the 4th here, and if you're giving me the stronger team in this matchup, I'll grab them at plus 310. Between the Atlanta Braves and the San Diego Padres, Scott, I was looking for a lower scoring game in this one. They're tied up 1-1 apiece currently. We're at the top of the 4th here. That live total sitting at 6.5 minus 106. To the under, it's almost a little too low for me in this one. I did expect this one to be a lower scoring one and the Braves to be able to get the win. I like the Braves better, but the problem is with the Braves right now, you're going to have to lay the juice at minus 134. I'm with you on the Seattle Mariners to be able to get the win today. It's 0-0, top of the 5th here. It is minus 118 for the Seattle Mariners. You don't have to lay the juice that you had to lay going into this game. And I do think it is the right way to go. We look at the Seattle Mariners, and Logan Gilbert got the start here for them. I like the 1.5 pregame. That came in at plus 100. So that's what I'm looking at out there on the Diamonds currently, Scott. It looks like the Giants have put another run on the board as well, and they're threatening with a runner on second there. I thought I just saw a runner on third. Maybe someone just got out there. So, but they're up 2-0 over the Twins.
Yeah, I'm not happy, Joe. Listen, I get it. So it's not like they knew anything. But, one of my best teams that I go against strikeout-wise, Seattle Mariners, right? Them, Red Sox, Oakland, Mike Constance. Barring a crazy, crazy line, I'll always go with the starting pitcher in the games that they're facing. So today, Seattle's in L.A., take on the Angels, right? And this guy, Carson Fulmer, is pitching for the Angels. And he's basically, not basically, he's a reliever. So it looked like they were going to go bullpen by committee. If you look at his outings this year, he's yet to go more than 3 innings. And that was at a 9-4 loss last time out against Texas. Let me just double check and make sure he didn't start that game. I don't think he did. But bottom line is he's a reliever. So they didn't post a number for him, which I get. You're not going to post, a half a strikeout for a guy that's going to be pitching 1 inning. So, anyway, long story short, his last outing, he had 5 strikeouts in 3 innings in relief in that 9-4 game. So I was all set to pounce on this dude, right? Even if we figured he goes an inning or 2, maybe they give us 2.5, 3.5, whatever. So, long story short, but we got 3 hours, so why go short if we don't have to? He's got 7. We got 3 games. He's got 7 stinking strikeouts, Joe. And FanDuel, anyway, didn't offer us a strikeout total. It's the top of the 5th inning. He's still pitching lights out. He's throwing a freaking no-hitter. A no-hitter with 7 strikeouts. We would have cashed that over no matter what number they would have given us. 2.5, 3.5, 4.5. We would have cashed it because he has 7. So I hate missing a winning bet, and I hate when they don't give us a line on a bet I know I would have made. I would have made.
Right. And
So,
that's the thing. As soon as FanDuel doesn't give you a line on a strikeout on
Yep.
one of these pitchers or an outline and you put a number in your head, it's always going over that because there's a reason they're not giving it to you there. They had no clue how high to make it against the Seattle Mariners with their strikeouts that they've been having. So it does look like we're the top of the fifth right now with runners on first and second for Seattle. And there's something happening out there between Arizona and Toronto. We might have the pitching change. Zach Gallen might be taken off as he has bases loaded. How? How's he allowed the Toronto Blue Jays to load bases? They're up 3-0 over the Arizona Diamondbacks. Diamondbacks are now plus 580 to get the win. They're coming back in this game. The bullpen of Toronto absolutely struggling. That total sitting at 9.5 minus 135 to the over. It looks like they're leaving Gallen out there. They're leaving him out to dry. I can't believe this. I would have pulled him. I would have pulled him fast.
Did he make the I forget. I used to follow the All-Star games religiously as a kid. Loved them, but now they're just So I don't even know. Did he make the All-Star game? I got to check and see. But I wonder if they would.
Good
He's only got
question.
57 pitches.
I don't think he did. I'm pretty sure
yeah,
he
I don't
didn't.
think so either.
Yeah.
So all right. So this is his last outing before the break. He's given up
Killing me.
7
He gave
hits.
up the home grand slam. He just got grand slam. It's done.
Are you
done.
kidding me?
Grand
Wow.
frickin' slam, Scott. Why didn't they pull Gallen?
Wow.
It's now 7-0. I should be the manager
that's your
for the
ball
Arizona Diamondbacks. There needs to be another Joe Madden as a manager in MLB,
Yeah.
don't you think?
There should be like certain games designated. All right, fans get to decide what do we do. It's computerized. You could do anything these days, right? It's 2024, so a manager has to put out there twice or 3 times a game questions for the fans to determine. All right, do I keep him in now or not? You have to do it. If you don't do it 3 times, then you lose the game. Something like that. So,
And he's
wow.
still in. He's still in, Scott.
Yeah.
He gave up the grand slam and he's still in.
Now I guess they
Oh.
figure you got to take one for the team. 7-0. It's only the 4th inning. Although they got the All-Star break, so it's not like they can't use up their bullpen. See, that's
Wow.
what happens, Josie. I bet Arizona, or I bet Toronto yesterday. They lose. And I didn't bet them today, which is breaking a cardinal sin of mine. Maybe not cardinal, but a rule of mine that I'd like to go back on teams that I'd lost with the day before, because it just seems like way more times than not they do what they were supposed to do the day before. I didn't, and Toronto 7-0 apparently. So, all right.
Frustrated.
Braves.
I
Braves
had the
tied
under
up,
3.5
San Diego.
or under 4.5 in the first 5 as well. Yeah. Okay.
Oh,
Go ahead,
that's
Scott.
right.
I'm not
that's
impressed.
Yeah.
Everything's shot today. Toronto is winning. It's backwards day.
Yeah. Go figure, right? All right, so 7-0 Blue Jays. You can grab Arizona if you want, plus 6.5 if you think they're going to make a little bit of a comeback. I suppose that's not that bad of a bet, right? We said Atlanta, down 1-0 was a pretty good play. They did tie up the Padres 1-1 as they bat bottom 4. And you're right, Joe. Angels and Mariners top of the 5th. Seattle's got the bases loaded with FanDuel says 2 out. So that may or not be the case. You never know.
Yeah.
So kid was throwing a no-hitter. We start talking, and then he's given up a couple of hits, I'm sure. At least one anyway, I would think. Let me see.
I would think so. George Springer up here for the Jays, and he connected.
Oh.
Well, he didn't make it to first, so okay. That was a nice play
Yeah,
by the
actually,
Diamondbacks.
You know what? The Mariners are still hitless. Somehow they loaded the bases
Wow.
with no did he walk 3 guys? Maybe an error? But they don't have any
Maybe.
hits.
It's crazy.
Walk, hit
No
by
hit.
pitch, and then an error. They have everything but a base hit for Seattle. This
Bases
team's
loaded
awful.
and
How are
no
they in
hit.
first place? Oh, goodness.
One of the many exciting things about joining Live was was being able to come here and play in front of a Spanish crowd, especially on a level of event and level of competition that I hadn't really yet enjoyed, right? I've been able to play events in Spain.
Here in the beautiful Valderrama, which some say is the European Augusta, it's so special. There's so much history here. There's so much Spanish history here.
Well, it has so much history behind. It's only a 50 years old club, but so much has happened through the years. I mean, we had the Ryder Cup, we had World Gold Championships, and now we have LIV.
It's very exciting, and really, if there was ever a place to get my first win, I feel like this would be the perfect week.
I feel like when this wind at this golf course is so difficult that it's equally stressful no matter when or where you're playing it. But it was fun. It's always fun to be back home and be with the home crowd. It's always a joy to have this many people supporting me all day. It's so much fun.
What the heck course were you playing today?
I don't know.
It's brutal out there.
It is brutal. I don't know. I just made everything I looked at, Jerry. You have those days. I suppose this was one of those days for me, so I relish in it. I really enjoyed it. Every time I stood over a putt, just felt like I could make it, and you don't get days like that too often, or certainly I don't. So yeah, I relished in it, and I managed to hit a lot of good shots as well. So it was a special day.
All right, welcome back in-game live, prime time here on the grid. Hour number 2 of our 4-hour extravaganza. Looking at some baseball stuff. Got some interesting developments, including a couple of early, Joe. But we have them just the same. No hitters in play. Not that early that FanDuel isn't offering us. The odds are lousy on this, but I will say it is 12-1 on whether Blake Snell will throw a somebody throw a no-hitter. Now, let me go back to the bet because I put it in the break, and I just want to double-check on the exact wording because I don't remember reading Blake Snell. Just straight no-hitter. So if you hit San Fran, Minnesota, you hit the live specials, and it's not there anymore. Hold on. How about SGP? Nope, it's not there either. They got Blake Snell alternate strikeouts. Yeah. Let me go to my bets and see exactly, because I put it in just to have it there.
Yeah.
Let me see what category it was under and what it said. It said, will either team throw a no-hitter? Well, it's not going to be Minnesota because San Fran has a no-hitter already. So 12-1 odds, but it doesn't say Blake Snell. So I'm guessing, if Snell comes out after 7 and the relievers come in and throw, no-hit baseball for the 8th and 9th, that counts as a no-hitter, right? Either team. So, doesn't say what category I found that under, but I think it was team specials at 12-1. Anyway.
Yeah.
Unless somebody got a base hit. Let me see. No, bottom 5. And I will say this, if they put that back up there again, Joe, Snell is known for throwing a gazillion pitches, right? I mean, that's been his issue over the years. He only has, through 5 innings, 58 pitches, with 6 strikeouts. I mean, this is as quintessential of a game from Blake Snell as you will ever see. I mean, normally, and no exaggeration, normally he throws about 100 pitches through 5 innings or maybe 6 innings. That's it. The dude's at 58. If you look at his game log, he has, who they playing? No, okay. No, never mind. Yeah, never mind. He's from Seattle. I was thinking they were playing Seattle, but no. Yeah. Through 5 innings, last time out 73. That's not bad. 4 2/3. Time before that, 99 pitches. 90 pitches over 4 innings. 87 over 3 1/3. 85 over 4 2/3. I mean, like I said, it takes maybe not 20 pitches an inning, but a good 15 to 16, 17 pitches per inning. That's generally, like I said, been his issue. And that's not the case today. So 12 to 1's not great through 5, but you got 6, 7, 8, and 9, and you got San Fran with the lead. I think that's, like I said, I'd like a few more than 12 to 1, but I put it in for a couple shekels.
I'm
See
seeing
if they
some.
put it up there again.
Yeah, I'm seeing some live specials popping up. It does have the San Francisco Giants to throw a no-hitter versus Minnesota Twins, but it has to be for
Okay.
the whole game at plus 1,200. And then I'm seeing Blake Snell pop up for 10 plus strikeouts coming in at plus 415. Those are the live specials. I'm getting them running across the top of my screen when you go under this game. Otherwise, there is a tab that says live specials, but I'm not getting just Blake Snell for the no-hitter.
Huh. All right, so let me go to, because I don't see it. So let me, hold on a second.
Yeah.
So I got the baseball page, right? And I got San Fran 2-0 over Minnesota. So you hit more wagers?
Yes. And then the very
then-
first page, that popular page, I'm having
Right.
the pulse bets come up, which are their big alerts. Don't miss these bets. Nice graphics at the very top under that score that's broken down per inning. I am seeing that, Scott. And then there's also a tab right under that you can open up that says live MLB specials in this game. And that's right below the game line. You see
Yeah,
it
we're not
there?
getting that in New York. No.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, totally different.
That's weird.
Candles up here in Canada, so it is different.
Yeah. And like I said, I put it in 5 minutes ago in the break.
Yeah.
So I don't know why they got Blake Snell alternate strikeouts. That's the only thing. Blake Snell to record a win. That's it. That's weird.
Yeah, that is.
Let me see if I, they offer, instead of, which is why I do this, because you, instead of looking for it again, because there's 50 zillion different little icons, right? So if you put a bet in, they do allow you to go back to that bet. So just out of curiosity, they're not even offering that. How about that? Bastards.
Wow.
If you go under your active screen
Yeah.
and you see the list of bets you have, underneath that, you'll see a little icon, reuse selection. So this way you don't have, and that's why I put it in for like $1 or $2. If I think I'm going to do it, this way I don't have to search, where did I see this with 5,000 bets that we're doing, right? So they don't have that for the no-hitter. That's weird. Like, why would they offer it in Canada or some states and offer it here in New York, but did they screw up and not supposed to offer that to us? That makes me think it might be a winner. Maybe
Makes
they
me
know.
think
We
it
all
will
know
be a winner
Vegas
for
boys know
sure.
everything. Yeah.
I love it.
Go to event. Go to play-by-play, box score. All
Hey,
right.
Scott, I have to ask you a question. Would you get in the pool
Fire.
and the hot tub at the Diamondback Stadium? You see that little pool hot tub
No.
on the sidelines? Come on. It's fun to watch the games
I'm
in
not
there,
like
right?
my kids. Well, my kids are real anal. The wife is semi-anal. The kids are really anal when it comes to germs and
Oh.
stuff. And I grew up in the mountains, so it doesn't really bother me. But how many people have been in that pool and done who knows what in that pool?
It's not Vegas.
No.
Arizona.
Yeah. I'll
So
sweat.
Vegas is
I
off
don't mind
limits too, I'm
sweating.
guessing.
Yeah, I don't mind
Love it.
sweating. Thank you very much. Appreciate the invitation. But my germs, I don't mind. But yeah. Would you? I guess you would. If you think
100%.
about it, then
Nothing better than some human soup on a Sunday. Come on.
human soup. Okay, I've never heard that expression, but I like it.
That's what my
Yeah.
dad calls hot tubs. He thinks it's human
would
soup.
you go under? Now it's one thing that
No.
would you put your head below water, like hold your
The
nose
hair
and go
doesn't get
underwater?
wet, Scott. Unless you're
Okay.
out on a boat, the hair doesn't get wet. It's not worth
Okay,
it.
so you got your limits there, chest or lower, right? Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Going under, maybe I can hop in, but putting your head under the water, ooh, yeah, that's gross. That's gross. All right, more coming up.
One of the many exciting things about joining Live was was being able to come here and play in front of a Spanish crowd, especially on a level of event and level of competition that I hadn't really yet enjoyed, right? I've been able to play events in Spain.
Here in the beautiful Valderrama, which some say is the European Augusta, it's so special. There's so much history here. There's so much Spanish history here.
Well, it has so much history behind. It's only a 50 years old club, but so much has happened through the years. I mean, we had the Ryder Cup, we had World Gold Championships, and now we have LIV.
It's very exciting, and really, if there was ever a place to get my first win, I feel like this would be the perfect week.
I feel like when this wind at this golf course is so difficult that it's equally stressful no matter when or where you're playing it. But it was fun. It's always fun to be back home and be with the home crowd. It's always a joy to have this many people supporting me all day. It's so much fun.
What the heck course were you playing today?
I don't know.
It's brutal out there.
It is brutal. I don't know. I just made everything I looked at, Jerry. You have those days. I suppose this was one of those days for me, so I relished it. I really enjoyed it. Every time I stood over a putt, just felt like I could make it, and you don't get days like that too often, or certainly I don't. So I relished in it, and I managed to hit a lot of good shots as well. So it was a special day.
All right, welcome back in Game Live, prime time here on the grid. Watching, we got a little no-hitter watch going on in San Diego with Blake Snell throwing bullet starts against the Minnesota Twinkies. So top of the sixth we go. So the Twins will have, let's see, Wallner, never heard of him. Coming up, who else is batting this inning? Bottom of the order, all right? He's the number 9 hitter, no wonder. All right, so you got the number 9 hitter, then the top of the order for Minnesota with 2 outs. Ooh, 2 outs to the top of the 6th already. That was a fast 2 out. 68 pitches from Blake Snell.
Wow.
I can't believe that. He needs 68 pitches to get through the first inning, for goodness sakes. Wow. You talk about this is why, Joe, like some people say they don't bet before the All-Star break or they don't bet getaway day games, afternoon games, right? Because you just don't know the mentality. Clearly Minnesota is just saying, we want to get the fudge out of here. You know, I know San Diego's beautiful, but we want that All-Star break because if you go into a game thinking you're going to swing at the first pitch against Blake Snell, then you're nuts. That's just stupid baseball. You get them out of the game, let them be great if you want to, go through 4 innings and then go to their bullpen, which isn't great. So, but clearly that's not the case for the Twins. So, bottom of the 6th we go. He's got through the top of the 6th. 3 outs left.
Yeah, nicely over
now?
the 15.5 outs. Right now.
Right. For the no-hitter,
now they're off. It's locked. It's completely locked, Scott. So if it comes back up, I'll let you know. But yeah, Blake Snell over 15.5 outs was plus 135 today. No one expecting him to go this deep into the game. And he's come out absolutely fantastic in this one. It's still, you can't get anything there. It's locked up everything. For those no-hitters.
For those no-hitters. Keep an eye on that. We'll see that. And then we got a no-hitter in San Francisco as well as the Giants. Or excuse me, not San Francisco, but although maybe we don't. In Anaheim, did they get a no-hit Seattle? No, that was it. So we got a no-hitter in Anaheim as well with the LA Angels. Now, that's a bullpen by committee game, although I will say Fulmer ended up going 4 2/3. He got yanked. Strickland came in, former Giants reliever. He got the final out in the top of the 5th, so they're in the bottom of the 5th. Angels and Mariners, no score with a no-hitter in that one as well. So I had not seen a no-hitter bet in that one on FanDuel, unlike
I've
the
got
San
one.
Diego one at all. You got one? Yeah? Okay.
Yeah,
What was that?
This bet is called Don't Jinx It. I love FanDuel's getting into some fun
Little
little
personality.
gimmicky bets here. Yeah, don't jinx it. They've got the emoji with like the finger up beside it saying the LA Angels to throw a no-hitter versus Seattle in this game is plus 2,900. Can they get a full no-hitter in this one? That's value, Scott.
Wow. That's, I'm guessing, two major reasons why they're giving you a lot more, right? One, you're in the bullpen already, so it's feast or famine. And then two, there's no score. At least with the Padres, they're leading 2-0. So you not only need a no-hitter for LA, you need LA to score, which you would think that they would eventually do, before they get to the top of the ninth inning. But maybe that's why they're offering you, 29-1 versus the 12-1 they were offering with Blake Snell.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's exactly why they're giving you so much value. It is so much value, though, Scott. It's hard to say no to, but then you got to remember this is the LA Angels in their bullpen here. But the Seattle Mariners, we've known their struggles for weeks here, not being able to get these runs. Now, they did have that explosive day on, I believe it was Thursday. They were able to put up 11 runs here on the LA Angels. They came back down to earth in a couple of these games. Just don't see it. They could have the no-hitter, but it's dangerous with the Angels.
Yeah. I don't see it on here in New York, the no-hitter with the LA.
Wow.
Live player prop, you think it would be under live player props, right? Maybe under popular?
Yeah.
Hit a home run. Nope. And like I said, I think someone just must have fallen asleep at the wheel offering that one at 12-1 for a half a second. Logan Gilbert. Yeah. Yeah, listen, 29-1, it's worth the crack, right? I mean, because the one good thing about bullpen by committee is that most of these guys will probably just go one inning, and, maybe one guy throws a perfect inning. And, bing, bang, boom, you got your no-hitter there. So, Seattle just scored. Now, I would think that would be via hits. Let's see.
Gotta be.
Yeah,
They still have... Ooh.
Although,
yeah, it's locked up.
they got a runner on second with nobody out on my Fox score. The FanDuel's showing 1-0. So,
Okay.
All right, we'll figure it out when we come back. In-game live prime time here on the grid.
One of the many exciting things about joining Live was being able to come here and play in front of a Spanish crowd, especially on a level of event and level of competition that I hadn't really yet enjoyed, right? I've been able to play events in Spain.
We are in the beautiful Valderrama, which some say is the European Augusta. It's so special. There's so much history here. There's so much Spanish history here.
Well, it has so much history behind. It's only a 50-years-old club, but so much has happened through the years. I mean, we had the Ryder Cup, we had World Gold Championships, and now we have LIV.
It's very exciting, and really, if there was ever a place to get my first win, I feel like this would be the perfect week.
I feel like when this wind at this golf course is so difficult that it's equally stressful no matter when or where you're playing it. But it was fun. It's always fun to be back home and be with the home crowd. It's always a joy to have this many people supporting me all day. It's so much fun.
What the heck course were you playing today?
I don't know.
It's brutal out there.
It is brutal. I don't know. I just made everything I looked at, Jerry. You have those days. I suppose this was one of those days for me, so I really shouldn't. I really enjoyed it. Every time I stood over a putt, just felt like I could make it, and you don't get days like that too often, or certainly I don't. So yeah, I relished in it, and I managed to hit a lot of good shots as well. So it was a special day.
All right, welcome back in Game Live, prime time here on the grid on a spectacular Sunday afternoon. Scott Wetzel, Joe Madden until 8 p.m. Eastern time, so plenty of time to get some more bets in. We got some baseball, a little WNBA. We got soccer later on tonight. We got second half of the baseball season, some futures that we can discuss with our good buddy Griffin Murphy, who joins us from time to time, as he does right now here on the grid. What's going on, Griff? How are you today, bud?
Scott, I'm doing great as always. Got back from Wisconsin yesterday. It was raining this morning. Now the sun is shining. We've got MLB rolling. I've got Toronto actually right now on an alternative run line play for plus 225. So I'm juiced up about that one. I think they're still up 7-0. Feeling good as always, my man. How are you guys doing?
I'm doing great, except I was on the other side of that Toronto game. Fading my Toronto Blue Jays has paid me well as of late, and I just couldn't trust them coming out here. I'm glad to see someone is going to cash some money. Couldn't believe they left Zach Gallen out with bases loaded, and then they got that grand slam. I'm shocked by that, Griff. What do you think of the other games? Blake Snell throwing a perfect game right now for the San Francisco Giants versus the Minnesota Twins. It's a 2-0 game. Do you think we're going to get the no-hitter?
You know, Joe, this is a real crazy one for me, especially the way that Snell started this season, obviously. And he did mention how spring training really did mess him up. And then he comes off a game where, listen, he comes off the game, he pitches against the Blue Jays, he goes 5 innings, allowing 1 hit and no runs. So for me, you look at it like this. San Francisco, they're 46-50 on the year. They play their best baseball during day games with a record of 21-21. I was on the other side of this thing, and I'm going to tell you guys exactly why. Minnesota, they absolutely drill left-handed pitching with a 285 team batting average. Minnesota also, they play their best baseball during day games with a ridiculous record of 29-16 versus 25-25 during night games. Minnesota is also hitting .303 in the month of July. This is the last game before the All-Star break, and they're in second place in the AL Central. So you know they have drive. They want to end on a good note. Everybody's seen what Snell has done in the past. So it's easy to look at his recent performance and expect dominance. So when I look at this game, I smelled trap. I looked at a team who's hitting 285 as a team against left-handed pitching, playing their best baseball during day games, and getting plus value in this matchup. Can Snell pull off the perfect game? It would be outstanding to do so because the Giants have one of the worst bullpens in all of baseball. So don't rule the Twins out of this game if it does get snapped. But the way he's throwing right now, I would not be surprised on that no-hitter. Perfect game, you're asking for a lot. No-hitter, it's most definitely doable, especially with a young or a nice veteran with Blake Snell, who has phenomenal numbers throughout his career, Joe.
Yeah, and he doesn't have Griffin. Joe and I were talking about this. He's been like generally a 5-inning pitcher his career because it takes him 100 pitches. He only has 69 today through 6. I mean, this is like as good a Blake Snell as you will ever see.
Yep. Yeah, I can't disagree with a single thing you said, Scott. And that's the thing. He's got a low enough pitch count right now in this game to go the full distance. If he's got a perfect game rolling, no hitter, you know they're going to let him stay in. But you're asking for a lot. We still got 9 more outs, I believe, of the ball game, which is very doable. I mean, he's gone through 6. I like where it's at right now. There's nothing like historical baseball. You see historical, a perfect game. I mean, that is as good of a baseball game as you're going to ever watch on that San Francisco Giants side of things, your team, whoever you're watching. So, yes, I love the historical aspect of it. I'd love to see Snell get back in gear after a brutal start of the season. So, yeah, I am riding. I would love to see that perfect game execute, Scott.
We were seeing a no-hitter between the LA Angels and the Seattle Mariners as well for the Angels out there, but the Mariners were able to get that 1 run on the board. They're now up 1-0. Anything you like live in this game? Live total of 4.5. And if you like LA to come back, they're plus 205.
If anything, so when I originally broke this game down earlier this morning when I went deep, the Angels, they're 9-21 on the season during day games, and they hit 217 as a club. You attack the Angels during day games. Night games, different situation. Right now in this current matchup, you have to understand Seattle is first in baseball when it comes to batting average against. Teams are hitting 219 against this rotation. Seattle's bullpen is also dominant with a 3.58 ERA. We are aware of the massive offensive struggle with this Mariners team. They're also only 18-18 during day games with a 210 batting average. Drill the under in this matchup. I love the live bet on the under. I don't see a lot of runs coming across the plate. I believe we're already through 6 in this one as well, so I don't see a lot of runs. I would have went to start this game with the under in this matchup. On top of that, I would have took Seattle on the run line. I love the run line in this one, and again, that under live at 4.5, most definitely something that you could attack for sure, Joe.
All right, how about some second half plays, Griff? I am sitting on a 25-1 Chris Sale National League Cy Young Award ticket. He's up 2-1, so he's in a position to get his league-leading 13th win. I don't know if you dabble in that market or any other second half plays, whether it's win totals, divisions, anything in the second half of baseball that you like.
I always like looking at divisional winners because you know what? You could separate them in a coordinates to really understand where you can coordinate them. And when you can coordinate them, you can get less variables. And the more variables that take into place makes the odds and makes the numbers a little bit more crazy to calculate. So looking at the American League Central right now, you're not going to get as much value right now with this Cleveland Guardians team at -185. But the Minnesota Twins, they are finally playing dominant baseball. Besides right now getting a perfect game no hit right now in this matchup, this is a team that is climbing. I believe they're 6 games back from first place. And Cleveland, on the other hand, I'm just not so sure if they're going to be able to maintain this star power that they are continuously playing game in, game out, outstanding baseball. I don't know if they have it now that we're in the second half of the season going into it, because the first half of the season, the Minnesota Twins, their biggest issue was their offense. They could not hit the baseball. They are now finally thriving and ascending to the upside month after month after month. Their batting average is getting better as a team. Their batting average against is getting better as a team. They have a very good bullpen. They have a very good starting rotation. And getting 1 to 2 risk to reward on them is not a bad play by any means. So I would absolutely sprinkle a little bit on the Minnesota Twins to win the American League Central at +220, Scott.
What about looking at the AL West here? The Seattle Mariners sitting as a favorite right now, but we've seen their struggles out there offensively. They're -130. Houston is right behind them at +125. You got to think there's some value here in the Houston Astros. What do you think, Griff?
Absolutely. Absolutely, Joe, 100%. I cannot rely on a team that is literally they have the best pitching staff in baseball, but they're the worst hitting team in all of baseball. Not literally, but I believe they're bottom 3, bottom 4. And then you have this Houston Astros team. They started off this season horrible. They could not win a game at home, which was detrimental to them. And they were also dealing with injuries on top of that. Now you have all of your star players intact. You have a phenomenal pitching rotation. Month in, month out, they are ascending to the upside. At a -105 line, Houston Astros, most definitely a valuable play there. The Seattle Mariners at +100, way overpriced. I don't see their offense shifting gears in the second half of this season. We've seen what they're capable of doing. They are not scoring a lot of runs, and it's been an issue all year long. Hitting 210 nearly as a team and the majority of their metrics. And then you have Houston, who every single season, regardless, they are always contenders. And especially towards the end of the season, that is when this team fights. They win World Series. They make it to the playoffs nearly every single year. So I love the Houston Astros in the AL West, Joe, to take the division.
We got another Grand Slam, guys. Sorry, I had to tell you. Diamondbacks Grand Slam.
No way. No way. All right. I'm not totally locked in that one yet. Not yet.
5 seconds. Yes or no, Griff? Can the Cubs in my division parlay win the NL Central?
No. No.
No shot.
Milwaukee. No way.
I think the Cubs are coming back. Griff Murphy, DocSports.com. Check him out. Thanks, Griff.
One of the many exciting things about joining Live was being able to come here and play in front of a Spanish crowd, especially on a level of event and level of competition that I hadn't really yet enjoyed, right? I've been able to play events in Spain.
Here in the beautiful Valderrama, which some say is the European Augusta, it's so special. There's so much history here. There's so much Spanish history here.
Well, it has so much history behind. It's only a 50 years old club, but so much has happened through the years. I mean, we had the Ryder Cup, we had World Gold Championships, and now we have LIV.
It's very exciting, and really, if there was ever a place to get my first win, I feel like this would be the perfect week.
I feel like when this wind at this golf course is so difficult that it's equally stressful no matter when or where you're playing it. But it was fun. It's always fun to be back home and be with the home crowd. It's always a joy to have this many people supporting me all day. It's so much fun.
What the heck course were you playing today?
I don't know.
It's brutal out there.
It is brutal. I don't know. I just made everything I looked at, Jerry. You have those days. I suppose this is one of those days for me, so I relish it. I really enjoyed it. Every time I stood over a putt, just felt like I could make it, and you don't get days like that too often, or certainly I don't. So yeah, I relished in it, and I managed to hit a lot of good shots as well. So it was a special day.
Welcome back in Game Live, prime time here on The Grid. Thanks again to Griffin Murphy, DocSports.com. Check him out on the website, DocSports.com, as he gave us a couple of winners, hopefully. So, good news, bad news. The good news is Blake Snell has still continued to pitch the minimum number of batters through 7. Bad news is he gave up a hit. Wiped out by a double play, so he's only faced 21 through 7, Joe. But the no-hitter is gone, unfortunately. The 12-1 ticket we can officially rip up. Yeah. Not good, but what are you going to do?
Yeah, not what I wanted to see. We jinxed the Seattle no-hitter as well, talking about it. FanDuel even said, don't jinx it. I think that was a note to both of us not to talk about it, Scott, right? That's what they had there. And Kikuchi allowed the grand slam to the Arizona Diamondbacks, and they've left him out there. I still don't understand why they've left him out. They have runners on, the Diamondbacks runners on first and third with only 1 out. So I wouldn't be shocked if they bring another couple runners home here on Kikuchi. He's struggling now. And it's gonna,
Yeah, probably why, Joe, is they need to go 5 innings to get the win. This is the bottom of the 5th. I can't help but think if this was the bottom of the 4th or bottom of the 6th or 7th, he would be out of there. But with a 7-0 lead, I think they want to try and do everything they can to allow him to get out of this inning. But if it means giving up the lead, you got to look at the big picture. If you're Toronto, right, every win counts. We've seen teams do this. We saw them do it with Dallas Keuchel, and we saw them do it with a couple of others, pull the guy out. But I think that's probably why, because it's the bottom of the 5th inning. If he can't hold on to a 7-0 lead for 1 inning, then my goodness. Another over, by the way, for Toronto in his starts on the road. That's been a constant. He gives up a ton of runs, and they score a ton of runs. So 7-4 plus 240 on Arizona money line with a couple of runners on. Would you go there? Or 1.5 plus 112?
Yeah, I definitely would. I would look at the Arizona Diamondbacks to come back in this. He's having command issues out there right now. I saw him throw 1 ball. It was super low to his catcher, and then he went high in it. So I wouldn't be shocked if he ends up walking whoever is up to plate right now. You keep seeing the guys in the dugout, the managers hanging their head there with every ball that he throws. It's just not looking good out there for Toronto. So I think the Diamondbacks can come back at plus 240. I think it's worth a shot, plus 2.5. On that run line, Scott, coming in at minus 115. And it looks like he's lucky he did get another strikeout here. So He's lucky.
Okay.
But I do think he's going to have command issues the longer he goes in this game.
All right. I'll do two things. One, I'll play under 15.5 runs in this game. That's 5 more runs. That's a lot of runs, right? That's even Arizona coming back and winning 8-7 going under. So you need 5 more runs in. You're heading to the top of the 6th inning. I kind of like the under. It's juiced now, minus 160. Now they gotten out of that inning, which kind of stinks. But again, you don't see too many 16-run games. When everything is said and done, I know you got 11 already, but sometimes you just got to take a step back and pretend it's 0-0 and say, are they getting 16 runs in this game? So I like that. Now it is at 16.5, so something must have happened.
They the Diamondbacks brought. Yeah, they brought another runner home, Scott.
7-5. All right.
Yeah.
Still, that's I would still take the under 16.5. I just think that's a ton of runs. So I like that, Joe. And I would play a hunch on now that they got a base hit, even though Snell's count is low. I would go over 2.5 San Francisco, Minnesota. They're in the bottom of the 7th. So the Padres, I keep on saying the Padres because he used to be with the Padres. Giants have to bat twice, 7th and 8th inning. You got the Twinkies batting twice, top of the 8th, top of the 9th. I'm pretty sure, confident anyway, that they get another run. Someone scores in this game. It's 2-0 now. They're giving you 2.5 minus 156. I like that. I like that bet.
I like it as well. Yeah, I think it's a really good one, and I really do like the Diamondbacks. The more I watch this game, the bullpen or the dugout here of Toronto has no faith in Kikuchi, and they're leaving him out there. You should see the faces here of the managers on the team with every single ball he throws, Scott. It's just looking worse and worse. Yank him then. If you're so frustrated with him and it's not looking good, Arizona still runners on 1st and 3rd, and he just hit the guy. Just hit him right in the shoulder. That's a walk. I tell you.
You got to
the bases are loaded. Yeah, bases are loaded. Get him out of there.
It's the bottom of the 5th. Yeah. I mean, you can't screw around. You've given him enough of a leash, Joe, where if you take him out, he can't be upset. It's just like, come on, dude. You're not getting anybody out right now.
Yeah. And to hit a guy right on the shoulder, it was terrible. You could see it coming, though. The command issues were insane. He's right out of there. Say goodbye, Kikuchi. Yeah. It's not good, Scott. This is the problem with Toronto. They're going to get Dallas Keuchel, too. I can feel it. And have Dallas Keuchel, Kikuchi, Berrios. Oh, it's going to be awful. And then they'll bring Alek Manoah back up. It's going to be a fun time.
Whatever happened to him? Is he still in the mind? What is he hurt?
Yeah, actually, I think he got hurt.
Yeah,
I think he got hurt again. I have to double check. It's Alek Manoah, but Kikuchi, just not a good day for him. He looks so strong coming out. The Jays able to get those runs on the board, but they've blown a 7-0 lead with Arizona now. Bases loaded. They were able to get a grand slam off Kikuchi, and it's a 7-5 game. But Zach Allen also gave up a grand slam. So if you had the over today, you're absolutely laughing.
Yeah. Braves 5-1 over the Padres. So I tell you that 25-1 ticket I got on Chris Sales looking better and better. This should be his 13th win. He went 5 innings today, allowed just 4 hits. They pulled him after 79 pitches, up 5-1. He would be 13-3 heading to the All-Star break. That's a nice little ticket to have. I put that in, Joe, when he was like 5-1, 5-0, something like that. And they were a little slow at the wheel, lowering his odds. And I was like, boy, this guy's with that Braves team and him pitching well. So I'm glad I put that in. I'm holding on to that ticket. So all right, we'll take a break. We'll come back and we'll update these games. We got a lot of runners on base. We'll see what the Diamondbacks do when we return here on The Grid.
One of the many exciting things about joining LIV was being able to come here and play in front of a Spanish crowd, especially on a level of event and level of competition that I hadn't really yet enjoyed, right? I've been able to play events in Spain.
Here in the beautiful Valderrama, which some say is the European Augusta, it's so special. There's so much history here. There's so much Spanish history here.
Well, it has so much history behind. It's only a 50 years old club, but so much has happened through the years. I mean, we had the Ryder Cup, we had World Gold Championships, and now we have LIV.
It's very exciting, and really, if there was ever a place to get my first win, I feel like this would be the perfect week.
I feel like when there's this wind at this golf course is so difficult that it's equally stressful no matter when or where you're playing it. But it was fun. It's always fun to be back home and be with the home crowd. It's always a joy to have this many people supporting me all day. It's so much fun.
What the heck course were you playing today?
I don't know.
It's brutal out there.
It is brutal. I don't know. I just made everything I looked at, Jerry. You have those days. I suppose this was one of those days for me, so I relish it. I really enjoyed it. Every time I stood over a putt, just felt like I could make it, and you don't get days like that too often, or certainly I don't. So yeah, I relished in it, and I managed to hit a lot of good shots as well. So it was a special day.
All right, welcome back. In-game live, prime time here on the grid, closing out hour number 2, and the comeback, Joe, is complete. Good gravy. Wow. Toronto has blown a 7-0 fifth-inning lead as the Arizona Diamondbacks score 7 times. Still batting, oh, by the way, in the bottom of the fifth inning. It inning just ended. All right, so 7-7. Yeah. Wow. They did take Kikuchi out when it was 7-5 with the bases loaded. They brought in a reliever, Cabrera. He gave up the hit that ended up tying the game, but all 7 runs do get credited, if you want to call it that, to Kikuchi. So, man, 7. If they lose this game, this is as bad. We've had some tough losses this weekend. We had the Dodgers, remember, 2 nights ago, or yesterday, blow a 5-run ninth-inning lead against Detroit, and now this 7-run lead, albeit in the fifth inning, against the Arizona Diamondbacks. That'd be a tough loss. That would. So Zach Gallen's off the hook.
It would be a tough loss, but one that we should all see coming if we're backing or a fan of the Toronto Blue Jays, because the Toronto Blue Jays do this all the time, it seems, Scott. They have these struggles out here, and it seems like it is never over for them until that very last inning. So I'm not shocked. As a fan of the Toronto Blue Jays, I expected Arizona to be able to get the win. I'm just kicking myself because I did parlay going into this game Arizona on the money line at -150 and the under in the first 5 at -150 to get +174. But I jumped in live on the Diamondbacks before that grand slam came by Toronto. So with what we're seeing right now, I still think Arizona has every ability to get the win. Cabrera now out here for the Toronto Blue Jays. I don't have much faith in this bullpen here of Toronto, and I think the Diamondbacks are the stronger team and should be able to get the win today. So -132 if you didn't jump on the Diamondbacks when they were down in this one. At one point, I can't even imagine what they were, 7-0, because I didn't look at that line, but I know they got as high as +310 when I looked at it before that grand slam, Scott.
Yeah, I don't remember either, Joe. I'm usually pretty good looking at those lines, and you should make it like a mental note, some of those goofy lines that you see, because you just never know. But I don't remember. They might not have even offered a money line. They probably didn't. A lot of times when it's that big, they don't offer money lines anymore. Or if they do, they kind of cap it at like 15-1. maybe 16-1, and then if you want to bet it, if it's 7-0 or 10-0, what's the difference? But right now they're back to being a favorite. If you did bet that, even if you bet it with the runs, you could now be betting Toronto. So that was just, like you said, just a horrible loss if that ends up being the case. I forgot about my same game parlay. I got the Mariners in my little SGP. Where are we at? There we are. They're leading 2-0, so that's looking pretty good. I got Logan Gilbert to have 5 strikeouts or more. I would assume he does, and he does. He has 7. That's looking pretty good. I don't have a run from Julio, and I don't have a double yet from Julio. He is 1 for 3 with a couple strikeouts. But I need to get that double. He'll probably get one more at bat, and I need him to score a run. Otherwise, that's going to be a loser. So,
Logan Gilbert going deep into this game, Scott. It's the bottom of the 7th, and he's still out there. So that's good to see for anyone who backed Logan Gilbert for his outs today. He's definitely having a good game out here with them up 2-0. Live betting wise, would you lay you can't even lay the 1.5 with the Seattle Mariners. No value at -215. Anything you like live in this one? I don't.
How about, the over-under seems a little big. 4.5, I know it's 2-0, so you get the 2 runs from the Angels. That's going to force a 5th run. But, Gilbert's, cruising here. So are they going to get 3 more runs? How many pitches has he thrown? He has thrown 72, so he's good for another couple of innings. That's not that many pitches at all. So the way he's throwing, I don't think the Angels are going to score, and we all know the Mariners don't score. So I'd be okay with laying the $144 on the under 4.5 in a 2-0 game in the 7th.
Yeah, I think that's the only way you could go in this one, right? I really do think it's going to be under that total as well. So I'll jump on that with you. Do you think we'll stay under 2.5 between the Twins and the Giants? Top of the 8th right now, 2 runs out of the Giants. Under 2.5 -128. Can we parlay those together?
I think we're going to get a run there. I do. I played it before when it was 2.5. I just think got a couple at bats left. One from San Fran now, but I somehow or not, I don't think it's going to end 2-0. I don't. If anything, I think I'm going to go over on that one. All right, hour number 3 in Game Live coming up next.